Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Paulina here with a friendly reminder that it is the equinox that is happening 21st, 22nd, 23rd of March, and we are stepping into the next, the new, and the kind of slightly dangerous zone of that which is Aries. So we have gone through the path of the zodiac, with Pisces being the very, very last sign. It is the no man's land. It is a sign between the previous progress and the new progress. It is the sign of erosion. If you're a little bit worried about this time, we've just passed the first eclipse. There's another one happening on the 29th. If you're a little bit concerned, please take a look at the couple of recent audios that I have posted on Patreon. Yes, they are purchasable, and one is about working with shadow and the SOS kind of feeling that a lot of people have during this time when they're really, really worried and concerned about how their life is going. They're really afraid about their peers, their love life, anything, any drama, health issues, anything. So I got quite a lot on integrating shadow. It's a little late. This audio has been around for days, but it is still there. And the other one, the fresher one that I've posted just recently, was actually about integrating light and actually letting light be light and allowing the fabulous past experiences and joys be that which you are structuring or basing your life on. So the most important reason to do this is because we are basically now walking into this very malleable, sort of goopy, gooey part of Pisces. So the main thing that I'm kind of a little bit concerned about for some people is that they are taking a lot of their past with them, and what they're going to use a lot of this fresh, vibrant and succulent Aries energy is they're going to try to talk to themselves, make sure that they talk themselves out of previous projects that they have created, making sure that they don't feel a pest in a situation. Feeling unneeded and unnecessary is a very big part of Aries this particular year, year of the snake, and it's going to be a very hard time for people to enjoy life because they have so many protocols and they've built up such a system, or they've built up a system of belief or a system of participation that is so also pure and true, but at the same time it is so contracted, it is so kind of still goopy from the Piscean time. So we haven't integrated maybe the previous signs. So let's start over. A lot of people are talking about this online now. I've been talking about this for about 9 years online, and maybe not everybody's been hearing me, but I'm sure if you are a friend of my channel, you've been around for a while, you'll know exactly what I'm going to say. So we have had 4 eons, 4 hundreds of years or thousands of years celebrated the beginning of the year in ancient Mesopotamia and different parts of the world, starting with the days of spring, so basically this equinox, which marks this very, very special event of the turning of keys, the turning of time, the change, is based on a real vibrational thing, as the earth is starting to get warmer in the northern hemisphere, as there is new feelings, and of course everything that comes with spring. And of course, in ancient times, they celebrated the gods Baal and Esther, but I don't want to necessarily go into that because there are lots of cultures, lots of different places in the world that did whatever they've done. So basically, equinox marks the start of spring. It is obvious and normal to accept that winter is the end, and that spring is the beginning. So basically what we did is in the 1700s and about 1750s, people have changed the calendar. So we started following the Catholic calendar, and also because of a certain barter system, because of agriculturalism, or for whatever other reasons, they've made the new year on the 1st of January, also taking out the secret month of Orpheus. So that's the thing, the sign between Scorpio and Sagittarius that marks the master, the shaman, the fully blooming human, the optimist, the human who is a master at life, who is the master of yin and yang, the masculine and the feminine energy. I suppose quite an androgynous sign in some ways, or the sign of the alchemist has been eroded, it has been erased, and we don't have 13 months as we used to, as we do have 13 moons to mark those 13 months. Now we have 12 months, and mysteriously it doesn't really connect because months means moon, and we have 13 moons but 12 months. So basically the whole system just came out of alignment in the 1700s, and there are lots of other things, there's lots of other facts, and I don't want to be the boring one this time around telling you too many things, but I will still inform you. I will still, plump up the energy for you and help you grow. So basically the main thing is we don't want to go into like society, civilization, or like the human need for truth or the human need for respect. We don't want to go there. We want to basically come out of there, and what we would like to do maybe eventually is to experience the truth, Saturn, as we're passing Saturn at the moment, to experience life in that way which is genuine for us. And even if you don't want it, people are all kind of on their own and by themselves, and in a sense they have an individual quality to them, or they have an individual taste for life, which is something that I've been trying to develop myself, and I've been talking a lot about on Patreon. So individualism and having your own senses, having your own network of neurology, neurological responses, emotions and karmas and feelings, sometimes disfigurement, of course, and sometimes miracles, and all of that which comes, or which came with you into this lifetime and the past. So basically what we are healing from is the inevitability of this ruckus vibration of Capricorn, the beginning of the numerical year of Capricorn, ruining things. And yes, of course, numerological systems and looking at your fate based on numerological numbers, of course. If you can imagine, if the whole system is screwed, the whole system of months and time and days is screwed, and years, it doesn't actually mean anything. It's just your number in the system. Like, for example, my number in the system is 4. I'm hyper conformist. Can you believe it? I'm a hyper-conformist. I'm just somebody who stays at home and does what they're told by the system. And then my day is 16, so that adds up to 7. So like that's the thing. For example, if I look at October being the 8th month and not the 10th, I would be an 11. I would be a spiritual coach, actually. But also that doesn't work for me, because you see, like numerology numbers, it is blasphemous. You don't have to have it. So why I'm talking about numerology is because we have this system of numbers, and I suppose like what I worry about is conservatism and how things fit. And yes, the grandeur of starting the year on the 1st of January is about conformity to a degree. It's about jobs, giving them and taking them. And it's about functionality. And for sure, for certain people, it is about the past, because we are starting the year on the old man Capricorn. But here we have a couple of months to dilute it. So I've been talking a lot about this. I have not been celebrating New Year's or Christmas or anything since 2012. So like that's for a different reason. So we have come out of the previous secrets. We have come out of the previous hiding. So let's find the truth. I've been telling people on my Patreon about how to neutralize the imbalance caused by starting the year on the 1st of January. So it's not the beginning, it is a psychological thing. Lots of people have an emotion. I'm just beginning, this is a start. I can't do that, that's old now, I have to do this, So people have started the year on the aging, the elder sign of Capricorn that just gets things done because it has to sometimes. It is the most depressing, weird beginning. It's nothing to do with Capricorns, but it doesn't work out this way. So what I've basically done, I've been teaching my Patreon people, or reminding them rather, to help themselves to as much space and calmness and connection as they like in the last sign, so they're not scrambled like scrambled eggs at the beginning of the numerical year. So that was basically what has really started helping me when I was back in 2012, is not to base my life on January the 1st as the main quintessential security of when do we start? Well, we start now. Or like, who's the leader? Oh, that person's the leader. Oh, we got to start with that guy. We got to watch out for that human, or we got to like follow the boss, follow the leader. I've actually started to study this a lot, and this actually also involves the Catholic system or other systems of trust. And what we basically want to become eventually I'm not sure if you're on board with me or not. Sorry for speaking for, people in general. We want to become enabled and empowered and kind of energetically impressive by learning to swim with the currents. So you're not going against the waves, you're going with them. So that's the main thing basically that I'm doing here, is just trying to remind you here how to achieve that. So whatever happens since January, just don't worry about it. Don't write it in the books. Don't write it in your records, Akashic records. Don't write it in the books. Don't marry to it, because that was the recycling and the regurgitation or the reconnection from the previous several selves, or the projects that you had going on, for a very long time. So like sometimes it makes us very sad and vulnerable. So we want to release the shadow. We started the year on the shadow sign of Capricorn. So we are releasing, relaxing, and actually starting to study ourselves again. So what has happened since about October, November? For about half a year, just like sit down and write it, blog it, journal it, sit down and just respect yourself since the last equinox, which was between the signs of Virgo and Libra, and it was on the global DC, and it was in this area of exits and greater learnings yet to come. So basically we're just relaxing, respecting that since about September's end things were not fresh anymore. So it's kind of like respecting and associating. When we get to a certain age, our body isn't the same anymore. And also different reasons for things being not the same anymore. So since autumn, till winter, till the end of winter, things have become hard and dark for some people, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. Things have become a little bit strange, but, we had to keep things, we had to retain, we had to respect, and we had to allow karmas to happen, because Libra is the book of life. It is the records. It is the Akasha in some ways. It is the sentiments about how things are and how things were and how things should be. And then here we've got now a very, very different life. So if you want to, respect yourself in this, respect your process, So since the beginning of also the year, on about the 22nd of March 2024. What for did you do all those things? Think about it. The strategy, like how did you bring it? How did you burst it? When did you have big upheavals, big ups, big colors? And also when did you have the lows? Try to navigate it. So you are looking at your slice. And your slice does not maybe start necessarily with the first. It may still do, it's fine. Because it's how psychology works. It's a global thing. But, if you respect it also, you can try and do 4 or 5 different slices. You can do equinox till solstice, solstice to equinox, and so on. You can do 4 slices. It's nice to look at life in slices, in seasons. And they're just really basic. They're based, in fact, like the connection, the position between sun and earth. We know, when the sun is highest in the sky, like say in the summer, when it is lowest. When it is on an angle or other angle, the middle ground. So these are simple things. Pay attention to the details. These are natural events. So whether there is asteroids, like in planets out, whether there is astrology, actually doesn't matter. The main thing is your relationship to your soul, which is your relationship to the sun. And if you come from the Northern Hemisphere, especially your ancestors do, it would be really nice to pay attention to details in terms of winter, spring, summer, autumn, understanding that of course summer is the most spacious, amazing elemental time, as we've got this, of course, solstice between Gemini and Cancer in the global IC, where things are effortless and beautiful. And yes, we do have the opposite solstice in winter, when we are reminded about old age and dying, which is that time between Sagittarius and Capricorn energies with the global MC, the hyper-vigilant, the hyper-productive, the older signs, the elder signs. This is really, really boring. And I'm sorry to remind you each and every time, if you have been with me for a while, you already know what I'm going to say. So let's try to unclog it. So we are here in the last few days of Pisces, and we do have eclipse seasons. So what we basically want to become here is want to breathe through it. So Pisces makes us feel nothing sometimes. And also, while applying certain anesthesia or certain numbness, it could actually stay there forever for the rest of your life. It can also up certain feelings that we didn't have before. So I talked a lot about light and shadow in my recent Patreon audios, and how to integrate first the shadow selves and the different ways that you understand yourself in the niche or secure but very low vibrational level. And also the high frequencies where you just want to get up and run and go, and oh my God, and I'm actually experiencing a lot of refreshment during this particular snake year. So what I really love about the snake year, even though it's the trickster spirit and it likes to lie and sometimes it does weird, crazy things, and it has a lot of alternatives about it, and it doesn't like the mainstream, it has its own little journey, it has its own little job. What I really love about snake is that it likes to clean things up. Just like parasites sometimes like to clean things up. Just like even the really dark sign of, for example, Scorpio, which I have a lot of as well. It may feel brooding and strange and, kind of weird. It likes to clean things up. It wants to get things clear. It is preparing us for the next fire sign. And fire sign is fire, literally. So whatever you associate with the word fire is true. So basically what we want to do is we want to dream the dream. I also don't want to clog you up with words and sense, because sense doesn't really make, and Pisces doesn't like that much of it. It wants to feel vulnerable. It wants to have its own process. It's kind of like picking up a baby, or like a chicken or a cat or a dog or a cow. Picking up a being, that has just recently been born, and trying to tell it what to do and trying to speak language to it. Doesn't understand you. It feels hurt, it feels pain, it feels sensitive, it feels sensitized. So this is something that we want to know a little bit more about. Vulnerability and the happiness of that. It's like, let me go, I just want to get to sleep. Let me go, I just want to go to work. Please just allow me to leave me there, or to leave me and you just here. So basically it's about leaving, it's about separating, especially these degrees of Pisces. We do have North Node in Pisces in these last degrees. Now the pressure is on. And we do definitely have Saturn and neurological adjuster Neptune there in the sky. So in the last few degrees of Pisces, we do definitely have a big question mark. We do have Mercury, Venus, and Aries. So we don't actually have a lot to do when you think about it. If you have as much time as possible given to you during this time, and feeling you and sensing you, this is a really big reset time. Pisces is all about dreams, about dreaming it away. It's about washing it away, be it with alcohol or tears. Some people need to wash it away in the sauna. Some people need to just clean their house. A lot of us need to wash and wish it out of us. And some people need to use prayer. So what I've basically done for you guys is, in the Patreon audios, I talked a lot about the shadow state and how to basically neutralize it, and how to recognize what that is. What is the uncomfortable feeling that you have about you, or what you've done, or how you're going in life, what you're going to do next. And then eventually we really also need to integrate the big, bright, brainy, crazy, funny, happy, and also very kind of slightly distorting, if you let it run away from you, light. So we want to basically have the balance between the dark feeling, I know who people are, I know what life is, I know what the government's doing, so we want to, take that, and we want to somehow leave it. Also, a lot of it may just need to drain out. And we would like to maybe also understand what light is. Now, we want to amp it up, because I think that most people are so clad with karma and past events and difficulties speaking and breathing, and hardship and hate, and sometimes relationships that didn't happen, and things they're still waiting on, and things that they know will not take place, but they expect them to. A lot of people, most people, many people that I've ever met in my life have probably 60 or 70% of that kind of clucking around in the background somewhere. So when we are not watching, when we're not thinking, when we're not feeling, when we're not genuine, it is the mainstream. And that's mean. We are mean. We are also mean to our peers. We're mean to our kids and cats and dogs and homes and objects and everything, because we don't actually mean to, but we are just holding on to so many things. So if you are really good at crying, if you're really good at letting go, if you know how to allow yourself to just to just go out there and shed those feelings. If you're really lucky, you have a personality, you have the respect for yourself, to know that it should not be inside your body. It shouldn't be the strengthening. You know, some people like, I'm going to grin and bear and I'm gonna keep this in. You know, it's like keeping in farts, sorry guys, or bodily karmas, like, you know, like not going to the bathroom because you can't go in a stranger's house. Because you don't feel safe, you know, it's like, but if you need to go, you need to go. So this is about allowing things, also to be gentle. Now, this is also idealizing things differently. So you don't have to have this Viking warrior that has walked for many miles and he's gonna keep it together like this. And if he falls, he will crumble. You know, a lot of us, when we get to that last few years of our lives, we crumble. And why? Is because the minute you let your body know that it is safe to, it will. And that's what happens. And even young people in their 20s know this. You know, the holidays come, you have some time off, first week of holidays, you get sick, or you just get strange feelings because you've let yourself go. And now this is funny, isn't it? You know, people are like, you know, Capricorn, you know, like always on time. But, you know, like this is it, like, you know, start of the year in Capricorn, that's why I'm referencing Capricorn. But in Pisces, it's like, you need to let yourself go. You need to let yourself go. If you want to heal it, you need to know that it's there. So the whole corset, emotional corset that sometimes people speak about, is like, smile and you'll feel happy. Or do that and you'll achieve success. Or do this always. Or do this, all of this in a row. Or try to keep to task. You know, so we want to basically relax. And the best thing I can do for you now is to allow to, like, yourself to absorb what you actually have going on inside of you. And it could be muck, and just let it be muck. And it may be nice, and let it be nice. And it could be great, and let it be great. So just about looking at you and also learning from yourself. Until you notice a problem, it will not get solved some of the time, not always, but sometimes, you know, also things with the eclipses are trickstery, and sometimes it gets solved without us knowing. Like, we didn't even look and it just got taken from us, you know, like snatching of a bag, but also kind of like snatching of your previous karmas and dreams out of your auric field, which is what I'm really looking forward to between now and the 29th, or a little bit later on. So basically what we would like inevitably to enable ourselves is to have the throat open. You know, so this is also like what I say when I'm saying a fresh oxygen, fresh water, fresh environments, cotton, you know, linen, things that are natural and free, hemp. So it's a very, very nice relationship to you. So you are longing for something. I'm longing for that guy. I'm longing for the job. I'm longing for that best friend. Longing, and the longing ain't got no time to long no more. So basically we are walking into eclipse season. We also just have to allow, and this is what I've been talking about, building up to the first eclipse. We just need to allow it to do what it will do, and to have been and have done what it has done. And also talking about time, how after time has tested a friendship, after time has tested a human, after we were tested, after our lifestyles were tested, after our anything was tested, went through a lot to get to where it is. Well, we went through a lot to get to where we are. We just have to be always kind of cool that it has done that. So this is like, okay, cool. So that guy never called me back, or that's cool, that job ended, or it's fine. I know that I'm making minimal wage on this, so it's okay. Now this is good. Now this is hard. This is like sitting in a bath. You know, sometimes the body can't get used to it, but we need to sit in the bath. Each and every time you just go, okay, it's fine. We are here with North Node, with Saturn and Neptune. Forevermores, understand the forevermores. I've spent 20 years on this project, okay, or I've been for 14 years in this marriage struggling, or like say I've had physical damage from something that I've taken or something that I've been doing, and just sit in it. Okay, cool. Sometimes it'll come up. Now, if you are fine with you enough not to have a job and not to have to put so much of yourself into anything, I've been trying to help you guys mellow out and relax as much as possible since Aquarius, and just be, live and let live, understand the consolidating factors of that fixed sign. So now we just have to go through certain things. Now, if you are jittery and weird and crazy, sometimes this can be really fun. It's like, I want to do that, or I want to pick up my guitar and play it, or I want to, take those skates around the park, or I just want to go and have fun. This is something that I've also talked about it. So not always, but sometimes people will have these sudden emotions during Pisces. The best idea is not to let anybody know that you're having them, not to nurture that which you are doing, because sometimes these are kind of chiropractic adjustments. There are irregularities. For example, I've been sitting there alone for so long, I need to go to a party. Or like, for example, I've been putting my hair through so much, with the chemical things, and now I just want to go back to my natural color. So these things are very certain, and we don't want to disturb or expose anyone to anything. Now, this is very, very powerful. You don't want to pull you or other people into a dance. It is really, really hard with karma. The worst thing is we are too empathetic. I already talked about it. And we're too knowing, we're too lucky also sometimes to know somebody that has made it, and now we are doing it all like them. We shouldn't repeat pattern. Anything and everything in the upcoming sign of Aries is individual. Anything and everything you're dealing with today as a conclusion of the vibrational cycle is you. It's you. Anything and everything is you. Like, you fell over, you scraped a knee, that's you. You laying in bed with I don't know, a very harsh condition, that's you. Your car broke down, that's you. You bought a brand new Porsche, that's you. That's you. Like, all of the time that you've spent, time, Saturn, Neptune, North Node, time. Does this sound powerful? I don't think so, but okay. All the time, all that learning that you have done in the last few years of your life, all of that trouble, all of that trying, all of that stuff that you have secured, every participation, all the tickets bought to every show, every concert that you've been to, all the time, every time you worn that sweater. But I don't dress like that anymore. Does it matter? All the time that you've spent online, all the time that you've spent educating people, all the time you've spent in memory lane, all the time you've spent, every single moment counts. And now basically what we want to do is just to relax, and I already talked about that in the previous video. Allow the facts to be facts. Like, say I've spent 14 years on Instagram each and every freaking day. Has it even been around for 14 years? I don't know. But like, say I've spent so much time, probably has, I've spent so much time on the internet, or like I've spent every waking moment of my life wishing I was a hero, or thinking about, I don't know, some kind of deity, or imagining or questioning, and now you have the full understanding of what that is. Okay, so for example, 40 years of being obsessed with the Christian church. Now you've got it. Now you know if you have some kind of flowering, if you have some kind of sprouting during Pisces, it's like, hey, this is the outcome. So like, anything and everything that is coming up roses also during this time is simply because you have sacrificed so much time. Could have been decades of work. And sometimes it is about just knowing and knowledge, and some of it does come from the stars, and a lot of it is ancestral, and a lot of it answers all questions, the big status quo, the big symbols. So we don't actually necessarily want to awaken into this massive individualistic feeling, because the stellium of whatever's happening, the clusterfuck in Pisces is at a sextile to Uranus. And we don't want that to be, meaning we don't actually want this to be normal. We don't want to necessarily, go about asking us like, hey guys, I've lost my brain because I've been watching so much MTV since I was born. And I don't know how to start a conversation with anything. I can't relate to anything. And I got diagnosed with this and that. And the question is like, what media do I participate in? So that's the thing. That's the thinking cap. That's the thinking pattern. And it's all right there in front of you. Every time you watch TV, every time you see a friend, every time you talk to yourself, every time you masturbate, every time you eat something, and all the times, every single time, all the times combined now have come to this. And what you may like to do, may like to be, and I know it's boring, is try to grow yourself out of there. And what sometimes it takes is a simple conclusion, which is what Pisces is. Pisces is the last breath. Pisces is death. Pisces is the end. Pisces is, yeah, we're done here. We're done here. And it's like, oh, okay, I've taken a lot of drugs. Sigh. Or, for example, yeah, I've been making sense and I've been working so hard since I was like 19. And sigh. Okay, sigh. Or like, I've been pregnant several times and I never kept the baby, and sigh, 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 relax. And now what we want is to work with a shadow. And if you want, I have a wonderful audio that I've linked with that. You know, so the whole aspect of who you are and trying to, is in a way building up sensitivity to some things, because you need to recognize you need sensitivity. Pisces gives you plenty of that to know stuff. And then eventually, basically, as you touch it, it's no longer there. It's kind of like smoke and mirrors. It is like playing in the shadows. And it's kind of like, it's almost like a school of fish. You know, you touch a fish and then just, you try to touch it. You can't actually reach it. It'll just swim the other way. So that's a perfect, powerful, this is a big, immense, real feeling. It's almost like a religious feeling of Pisces. The minute that you say thank you, the minute that you feel sorrow, the minute that you feel pain, the minute that you also feel respect, the minute that you feel praise, the minute that you feel love, the minute that you feel I'm sorry, like separation or depression, or how can I help you, that like how can I make it right, just say thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, ho'oponopono, which is a sacred Hawaiian prayer way of just neutralizing all that. Great, ho'oponopono. Just say it many times. Thank you, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. And whatever language of your choice. And you'll start to move mountains. You'll start to see shifts. It is just basically to realize you were wrong. Or that you didn't have to see that. You didn't have to go through that. Or several things have happened that were not good. Now, how to grow through this? I talk a lot about this in the SOS audio on my channel. Have a look, please, on my Patreon. How to basically not lose your mind is to know, and I've talked about this in the previous audio video here, everything in the world is perfect, and it is sequential to itself. It has sequenced itself in that strategy, in that way, in that nervous system, in that beingness, that it is done. And you just have to say thank you, because God is working over time. Some people may say life is working over time. Life is awakening. She is repeating systems, thank God. That's why we have the ozone and such, right? But she's also blessed to not really know about it. So some of the time she's also like asking me, she's asking you, she's asking us, where are we going? And this is the throat. This is the question, this is the quantum, where the soul lives, the throat chakra. And just releasing the pain and the shame and the vulnerability and the negativity and the pollution, the gas, the oil, you know, releasing the toxicity and learning a little bit less sometimes, and starting to feel like I would never be able to. Now this is hardcore. Learn everything. I am trying so hard. I'm trying to make it at my job. I'm trying to make every single dollar I can. I'm trying to. I won't ever know. You know, so this is the compassion, empathy you may want to have for your mother. This is a quick change. This is a quick call. It's a shift. Loving your parents. Oh my God, this is, oh my God. Yeah, that's the way. Loving your parents, loving your cosmos, your universe, loving every single aspect of you and your body and your human experience and your human nourishment, and also learning from that very, very deep set sense of nobody knows me, nobody wants me, and then in there somewhere very deep, so working in shadow, qualities right now is an innocence that you want. That's where you want to be. Not everybody's here right now, not every single person. That's the innocence and the love and the learning and the future, because you don't want to take all of that potential and just chomp into it. Like, say you don't want to take all this here and cut it, or you don't want to, like, for example, put yourself in a stressful situation or put your nervous system into overdrive. And it's a cruel world out there. And if you are respecting yourself so little that you work all the time, opposite of Pisces is the taskmaster, Virgo. If you're working overtime, if you're digesting overtime, if you're farting, if you are bubbling up, if you're pulling out teeth, if you're sick all the time, if you're nervous all the time, if you're depressed all the time, if you're controlled all the time, if you are constantly in some kind of emotional corset all the time, if you are constantly in states of insignificance all the time, which is Virgo as well, you need to get over it and say, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I honestly, I don't know, or I don't know yet, or like, thank you, God, thank you. And now this is humble. Some people, yeah, you know, have their Christian or their Muslim or any kind of type of gods. In some ways, it is just about releasing your soul from also those binds and confines. It's just relaxing. It's like the world, the universe is such a complex relationship between all aspects of itself. I would be a fool to think that I know it. I would be a fool to think that I would say that and I would say this. So we're going into an extreme non-action in some cases. Non-action. So this is non-opportunity, this is no connection, you know, unless you really want to, you're like, oh, I really want to go skiing, I would do anything to go skiing, you know. So we also understand that happens sometimes. So I just really want to call this person up. The smartest and the wisest during the last little episode of Pisces realize this is the time. This is like before we are born or before we die. This is the time. This is when the body's twitching and going through whatever. And now this is when we see the very gross, disgusting things walk out of us. You know, sometimes karmas walk out of us, our ancestral things walk out of us, our predatory things walk out of us, our dodgy uncles and, you know, fake husbands and depressing emotions. All of that eventually leaves. As we know, there is no sorrow anymore. It's almost like there is no time to waste, there's no time to kill. There's nobody that knows me, oh my God, you know, anything and everything. Like, I've spent my life doing this or that. So these are last reflections and realizations. And also, these are the first reality checks. You know, when you're like a baby, been sitting there nice and warm inside of your mother's womb with all its problems, with all its intestinal things, with all of that which it's done in its life, with all the collection of DNA that it's picked up over its lifetime, with everything, with its anything, and you knowing, and also all the blessings and all the nourishment and all the nutrition and everything like that. Okay, oh, I'm about to get evicted. I'm about to get evicted, or I'm about to be burnt. It's gonna be bright out there. It's like, you know, imagine as a baby coming out. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to fight for my life. I'm gonna have to scream. I'm gonna have to learn how to use my lungs very quick, you know. And all of this basically has to learn itself very fast during Aries. Now, don't worry about it. I've already done the readings for April that are also going to be on Patreon. They are. So basically, in April, what we are going to go through, what we're doing is we are going to burn off some of that charge, imagination, and some of that which we've implanted earlier. So whatever seeds you've planted since maybe Capricorn for some people, you know, fellow cardinal sign to Aries, you know, in some cases it's been long gone, long before, and in some senses it is memories. And what I'm basically not telling you to do necessarily, because I know this is a hard yard. This is a hard culture that I'm in. This is a hard culture, meaning like going a little bit too fast, too soon, too quick. Okay, I'm trying to basically motivate you, if you are in the zone, to make this happen. You can, if you want to. You want to make it very clear that you are not burning out that old fuel. You're not burning out that old karma. You're not chatting to that old friend that makes you feel sad. You're not making the same thing happen day in, day out. So unless you really, really care for it, don't keep it, don't tell it anymore. The main thing that basically I've done in my whole life is learn to say yes. And this sometimes means like a re-evoking of certain things, a re-evokement, and sometimes it is like everything's forgiven all at once because, oh my God, I can't take this with me. You know, it's like, for example, you have a bag that is full of crap and you've just been lugging it around since high school. And now it's just like, I want to leave it here. I want to leave it here. Like, I want to just take it no more. Like I don't want to take it. Like, say yes, you know. And it's not about saying no to the bag, it's just feeling yes, saying yes to the sense of enlightenment, you know, and feeling bliss. And that's exactly what my next audio was about, which is about positivity and trying to build up collagen, build up self-esteem, build up energy and vibrancy by the time that Aries comes, you know. So it's like, say yes. And what I've done basically is talk a lot about how to neurologically readjust your soul so it likes what it actually does like, and make it the interest or maybe even the purpose, and remembers and recalls all the sensory missions and adventures, and also all the sensory dangers, and uses that inertia or uses that path of the real, you know, people would say the real witch. I would just say the real knowledgeable person, the real human that really savors life and understands and feels and reacts in real time and knows, you know. So you're not just in a murmur. It's like, oh crap, I promised, oh shit, I've done so much work on this, I better keep it going. Or like, well, you know, like where I fit in, well, you know, I'm a people person, I'm a social person, I can, I guess, fit several molds. And basically what we want to do is we want to drop right out and drop away from any kind of needs and emotional prosperities that are based on the shoulders of other people. And that's exactly why I don't like starting the year in Capricorn. Depending on that, I will do this. Depending on you, I will do that. Depends on my boss, it depends on my dad. So the mainstream thing is just to leave and relax. And there are people tied up, you know, like how there's a scene in the Matrix with the batteries, you know, and everybody's just plugged in. It's just like there are more cords than you know. Because of this, you know how I said complexity of the universe is mind-boggling? Because of this, there is that. Because of that, there is this. Because you are scared of this, you know, got this person here. Because of this person, you can't do this. But you can also look at this, like this and that. But, you know, not that. This you can't do. No, that's the curve, you know, like. So, like, some of the time, we just want to laugh and be the shaman in our own life. And this is when hysteria comes in mind. And that's when the full burst of color is already seen in Pisces for some individuals that are usually genetically clean. And I talked about this. There are certain genetic systems where people are just using color. They're like, I don't care, I'm just going to drum through this. Like, I'm going to go into the trance. And now this is interesting because, like, I'm going to take you there. If you are serving medicine, like plant medicine, like heavy stuff, heavy duty stuff, you know, you'll see there is a certain person that will want to relax and just think about who they are, because they have so many things that they have to take care of. And then there will be a person that will jump up, like the Yawanawa tribe, for example. They'll just want to jump up and they just want to twirl around and, you know, have a little disco, you know. And that's a very interesting thing in terms of how people feel with humiliation, how they deal with pain, how they feel, you know, discomfort, ease, and also like joy and remembrance, and what they do with memories. Now, this is interesting. Memories, moon. If you don't fill it up, if you don't block it, if you don't have it just like, honestly, like I gotta go and do this stuff, you know, if you don't make it a big deal, if you don't make it also like a princess over you, you actually see women are magic, moon is magic. You know, the connection to the power of that is just, sorry, so much information coming through right now. It's like growing yourself so deeply and primordially that each and every step of the way you are dancing. You're a shaman, you know, meaning you are just envisioning you twirling things in your hands. You are seeing yourself in rainbow colors. Everything and anything is just a flight. And that's a very, very deep focus, because then you are just, it's not necessarily a lifetime changer. It doesn't matter what other people are going around doing. It actually never really was anything to do with anything like that, any kind of service or deep fulfillment based on where another person stands in comparison to you. It's a very, very neurologically exquisite sight when you actually look at who you can be yet. Now, this is really hard and dangerous sometimes. It's not actually evil to say also, I can't be that right now. I've got so many things and I honestly don't know how I'm going to make it without this or that. Never mind. You need to grow, you know, so like, and that is healing, you know, and certain people like, yeah, well, you know, you get older, you get depressed, you know, you get punked by life for so long, you can't meet it anymore, you basically become dry. And now there's a philosophy of a child, like if you tell a child off and they're like, well, I don't like you anymore, and the child says, why not? And the child needs to grow, you know. That's the thing, is part of the being an adult is leaving the infantile, malstructured sensitivities, which we are just keeping around. So everybody that I know lives like a freaking spider in a web, and they're just waiting for things to come to them, you know, sitting there in the web, waiting for the fly, you know, waiting for the paycheck, waiting for my TV show to come on, waiting for Paulina to go online. I'm just waiting, it's like sitting, catching some breaths. You know, so that's the thing. It's like the thinking patterns, you know, hunters also, you know, agriculturalists, you know, like just a human being who doesn't actually understand what life is. And then, you know, here we have copious amount of work and breeding and hardship and, you know, questions and survival. It never actually, I don't want to even go there. It's dirty. It's dirty for my little fingers. But, you know, like let's try to grow, you know, like one of the questions that I also have, you know, whether or not, if I was going to really feel what it is to be here, would I really be available to doing that? Should I be like a singer? Should I be a dancer? Should I be an economical person and just think about like filling my fridge with the right foods? Or can I, you know, feel? Can I, you know, can I emote? Can I grow? Can I burst, you know, past all of this? And what I usually actually was, or what I usually have done, is I just it's almost like sense that the environment and the people around me were not ready for me, or it wasn't warm enough, it wasn't kind enough, it wasn't sweet enough, like there was not enough sugar. It's just like the flowers came out after the rain, but they're not my flowers. And immigration has a lot to do with that, because I was an immigrant for most of my life. But you see, like this doesn't matter. It's not about the iconic problem solving by just like labeling things and like talking to people as if they are, you know, part of the past. It's like, oh, Paulina, the immigrant, and that's how, and now we know, you know. So like these all question marks actually doesn't really matter. Where you really want to draw the inspiration from is your own psyche and consciousness, and not everybody has it free. So I talk a lot about that in the audios. I have 2 audios that I've done specifically for this time to help you transcend and get fresh for Aries. And basically what I also want to do, like I'm being honest with you guys, look at this, how nice, about me, how nice, rare moment. Okay, so like say what I want to do is I want to breathe out all of that which I don't want to repeat anymore. Like I also, like I don't want to feel helpless leaving that which was actually good, because I actually didn't know that it was, or that it wasn't for me or for her or for him. And I've just let other people have my patterns. And sometimes it's like making a cloak and then just letting somebody else wear it and not knowing what for. You know, so all of these, like leaving of magic, like being a paid artist, you know, it's like I've made a beautiful thing, but, you know, I want you to have it. Or being paid to be a singer, being paid to be a dancer, you know, and all of this, you know, it's just like goes around and around in circle is just like, you know, what we have to deal with. And the way is meaningless unless you allow nature, which is magic, to leave you there for a while, and then she will show you. It's kind of like she will leave you in the cave for a while, and then the birds will come and chirp your song, and, you know, a little hamster or something will bring you a treat, I don't know, a little sprig of wheat, I don't know. So, you know, you see, like every single person's on their level of endangerment and on their level of psychology and neurosis. I also talk in my recent audios about neurological adjustments and how Pisces does actually scheme things out. So we are all a little bit neurologically freaking strange just to be accepting of that which is going on. Every single person you could say is insane, but I wouldn't actually say it. They are all adjusted to the system and to the fine lines and to the tight strings that are holding this universe together for you. And basically what we want to eventually establish or enable is to be fine with all things. And then as we release and we forget and forgive and try to feel comfort, or try to feel a certain nurture or a certain type of respect for all creation and for yourself and everything that you've said and done. This is like the end, you know, like in the movie, like the end. And we have a big clap of applause. You know, I'm not saying that you necessarily need to be stagnant and just wait for things to leave, but you know, if you are very smart, you'll just let it go. But some people are so plugged into their work, there's just no freaking way. So like, that's the thing. And the thinking pattern of having that stuff to be, and also like being a shaman. I want to be a shaman. I want to be a magical human who dances around the world and who dances the dance of life, you know, all of that. Also, you don't actually have to have it. I don't need it. I don't need it. It's a burden as well. It's a huge karma too, you know. So like, and to teach other people that is also not a very smart thing. So that's the thing, you know. That's the thing. Anything and everything is like a Pandora's box, and we don't sometimes have the language for it. We only have the moves. We only have the feelings. So we just have the innards for it. How the different organs react, you know, the little micro movements and different tissues. And then eventually we have come to the end. This is a freaking long audio video thingy. We have come to the end, and we have started to recommit. And now this is going to start maybe for some people by about the 19th, I'm seeing very clearly, of March. Hey, I got to go see my friend. Oh, I got to call my mom. Oh, I got to get a new car. Oh, like, wow, I need to get back to work. Recommitting, some of that is going to be the only few strings that are gonna hold you. Like some humans, they need certain things. They need certain people. They even need things way from the past to be able to join the dots and to be able to handle the next few steps of their life. You know, so some people, you know, they can't just rip their whole ecosystem out with the core. They have to recommit and they have to re-enjoy, and sometimes it is about rejoining the dots. It's like calling your mom, asking her for money. You know, sometimes it is like that in certain cases for certain people in certain histories. And then after that, we do also definitely want to breathe through this, because now this is really, really hard to change. I don't want to freak you out. By the time we go into Aries, some things have already set up. The game has been set up. All the characters have been set up. All the graphics have been set up. You know, anything and everything is possible, of course, obviously, but you are on your own. This is the bush, you know, like this is like going to the bush. This is like you're on your own, and now you have to make sense. And in a sense, innocence, inner sense, innocence, incense, I don't know. Insignificance. Okay, so basically in some style, way of style, or way of pleasure, basically, what I'm basically trying to say is, we've still got to have the aroma of feeling like a child, of breathing innocently, of breathing our baby steps forward, of looking at life innocently, of using our senses and these aromas and feelings and frequencies that we feel in our full capacity to the most innocent part. But you see, parts of this is already predestined and predesigned because of the previous relationship to how life has become. You know, so I'm understanding if you're like, okay, I want erosion so bad, Paulina, like, how do I get rid of my ex? Or like, oh my God, how do I get that? Like, you know, don't rush it, don't push it, you know. But this is nice also if you are understanding, as we're coming also to Saturn, that yeah, there are things that are just like not going on. Like that person ain't gonna be with you. Okay, or that money isn't enough, okay. Or like you can't make it past this. You'll never make it. Never make it, you know, like you'll never make it. You can't give it yourself. And it's really, really, you can't work, so you can't give it your soul. You know, so basically what we've come to do, we've come to be, is we've come to be pretty normal. Maybe at the end of the day, like, okay, look, I'm looking at like my current life and it is too hard, it's too harsh. Like, I'm jealous of you if you've got time to sleep it off and just like relax and have a glass of wine and think, Pisces is going to wash it out, or God is going to help me, or I don't know, anything is possible, you know. Manifestation, universe, Jesus Christ, I don't know, anything you want. And there's going to be a very, very harsh time and a hard fine line for certain individual, because they really also don't want it to stop. It's like, I don't want to, but I also do want to. I don't like that, but I can't stop. Or I don't feel secure here, but I actually also really enjoy it. And that's all that I talk about also in Patreon, and the SOS reading definitely talk a lot about these undercurrents and kind of clashes. And now this is really hard for me to talk about, you know, through genetic interlinking in your body, through what your ancestors have done or who they were. There's going to be always options, but there's also going to be limits. And a certain thing that happened to me is a lot of other people, we have patchworks. For example, if I've had 4 or 5 different species of human from different terrains and different parts of the world and different ethnicities make that which you see in front of you today. There's going to be a lot of humor that I need. Or I need a lot of karma, you know. So it's kind of like to patch up your world, you know, to patch up those wake-up calls, and eventually basically to help yourself feel normal. Because, you know, Pisces, we want to eventually, by about the 20th or the 19th, feel just okay, feel normal. And I know that I'm like blueprinting things for you, and they feel a little bit too epic to even be true. But there's a very, very big reality, a very big idea that we're actually starting to need. And I feel this is actually about the freaking environment. You know, the environment. Do I feel safe as a woman? You know, do I feel safe drinking this water? Do I feel safe going in a toilet and then flushing them down and knowing where that goes? Do I feel secure? Have I got a security? Like, for example, how much have I got to go in this house? Like, what if they change the rent? What if they kick me out? You know, like, how many people do I really love around here? You know, what is my security with my nervous system? What is my security? What is my connection to the whole thing? What is my connection? This is something that I've been preparing you for in the early Pisces on Patreon, talking about the embrace of the mother. In Indian culture and Hinduism, they have a lot to do with the Divine Mother. That really helped me out a lot. You know, like prayers, Chulalita Devi, you know, different types of things, different names of the divine feminine. You know, reality, you could say the planet as a woman. You could say God as a woman, sure. You know, you don't need to say that because it's just not what it's not. There's a very, very simple chance that things are going to go better if you just relax and feel her. You know, if you understand creation, if you know consciousness, light, energy, the thing that makes it go, the thing that makes it evolve is, you could say, masculine. But the physical plane, you know, the physical experience that we're having is incredibly feminine. And it's very, very fragile. You know, Maya is feminine, you could say. You know, Shiva Shakti, I don't know. I honestly, I don't understand that stuff. But, you know, there's a very, very big relationship that we need to make. We need to mother the environment. Pisces also, the environment, is a mega feminine sign. Mega feminine snake here as well. So like the environment, the womb, you know, what has made you, what has taught you, and now we have to trust it. And now this is difficult. There's a little kitten trying to bite my foot right now. Thank goodness I'm wearing socks. You know, I'm trusting the socks. You know, so like that's the thing. Literally, I got a little cat on the floor there biting my foot. But you know, like there is a very, very certain need. There's a very, very certain need to love her and to relax around her and to know that everything that you were and all that has ever happened in your life was love. In the end, you did okay. Now, this is really hard for me because I'm a hard worker. You see, the harder you work, yeah, the harder to trust. But never mind, okay, never mind. Sorry to program that in. We'll need to somehow just relax and refrain from the decadence that can sometimes take over because you don't feel it. And I saw a lot of that for you guys in April, like eating a lot, overeating, overstimulating, you know, having fun. Sometimes we just go, well, I know I'm going to hate this ride, but at least I'm going to take whatever it's got to give. You know, it's like, I'm going to get drunk. If I'm going to go out, I'm going to get drunk. Or If I'm going to the supermarket, I'm going to get all the cured meats that I can find, because it's just how I go, okay? And the pickles and the mayo. And that's me each and every time. So basically I'm saying over exuberance, over decadence, and also over respect of certain things and not enough of others. And we still have to trust her, you know, so that's the thing, that's the thinking pattern during this time. I'm feeling this for you guys. We still have to trust her and love her and learn from her. And the main thing that I'm also, you know, questioning as an adult, did I ever have it right? Or did I fight? Did I fight her? You know, and what I love about also, you know, sometimes the Christian faith or other faiths, you're always forgiven. You are eternally forgiven. You know, Eden, forgiveness. And that's what I'm also trusting as well. It's like everything has already been forgotten, or everything or everybody's already been integrated. So trust that it was always going to be that. And now this is going to be hard for people that know that somebody really loved you, and now, for example, they're abandoned by you, or they really had an epic amount of trust or skills or connection to you, and now they don't know, they're no longer viable. So if you've done anything really mean or terrible to someone, it's nice to tell them, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. It's really, really nice to give them a break as well, because they don't have to forgive you. That's the thing, that's the territory that we're on. And some of the time people may say, I don't want to say anything, you know, I think it is self-implied. And that's also real, but certain people cannot imagine it, you know, they can't see themselves as a disappointment. So basically what I'm saying is we need to relax, and we just need it all to work itself out. And until that happens, we will not be able to portray a new world. Just let it happen. Let it happen. Let the buzz of the music or the movies or the cars, let the body, allow the fat cells to form how they've done. Let the hair be gray. Let it allow it. And eventually you will allow it all to know that it is loved. So I talk a lot about self-love in the recent recordings at Patreon. It's like, it is all loved. You know, you have a feeling, you have always had a feeling of love. You know, so it's your destiny. You have always been love, and requited here. You are the program speaking through itself into its soul. You know, you have creator, okay, inside of you. You can choose things. You're not an animal this time around, or a plant. You know, you have a special voice. If you're a human being, you know, if you're a hunter here as well, you know, if you're one of the higher, you know, in this realm, you know, you have so much. You can take down that tree, or you can help it grow new seeds. You know, you can leave it alone as well and just let it be. And the smartest thing for all of us is just to create nothing. And now this is the very highest form of existence. Just the reason that we don't go on this high form of existence, because we are not doing very well up here in the psyche. Do nothing. So thank you very much. Enjoy. Have a wonderful equinox, and I hope that you have a spectacular start to the year. Thank you, and have a look at the decadence in the section below. Thank you. Bye.